Welcome to day 4 of your back pain easing program and protocols relief codes. This may be day 4 of practice, but it's only day 3 of the back bends. So without much further explanation, other than a reminder that if you haven't done your warm-up, please go back to the warm-up in this playlist of videos and practice and do at the very least, one superset, and maybe consider revisiting day 1 of the back bends as another way to just recondition your spine for the work we're doing together here and now. Now today you will need a yoga block, so if you haven't ordered one, there are links below in this video to be able to access my favorite. But if you don't have this and maybe you do have a foam roller, that's a great alternative. If you don't have either, the best thing that I would suggest is get a couple of books, like, dictionary size, a couple of dictionary size books, make sure they're even, and then get something like a towel and fold it over the edge so that the edge is soft enough. And if you only have the books, then you'll be doing part 1 of this, but not part 2. So be mindful of that and consider, if you're only able to do part 1, that it might be time to start increasing, expanding, growing your own yoga prop collection. All right, on that note, we're taking the block as low as it goes. So if you need to press pause and go collect some form of a prop, do that now. And if you're ready, we're coming down to place this block right on the tips of our shoulder blades. So the very bottom line of the block, as your body can reach it, not the bottom on the mat, but up here, is on the tips of the shoulder blades and the rest of the block underneath the shoulder blades themselves. Now you have an option here of also either getting a cushion or a second block and placing that behind the head, and I actually encourage that as we begin the practice, but we'll be making more and more space as we go. So keeping the knees bent, the feet flat on the mat, let's take the feet actually to the width of the mat and drop the knees together. And then just close the eyes and for a moment feel the shoulders, let the palms turn open, the shoulders roll out. And see if you can relax the inner thighs, relax the weight of the feet into the mat. All right, and now with the neck long, no chin jutting up to the sky or anything, maybe flutter the eyes back open and start to press the shoulder blades, the shoulder heads, roll them open until you feel the shoulder blades sort of squeeze against that block. And while that's happening, I want you to think back to our first couple of days in back bending, where we tilted the pelvis in a different relationship to gravity because we were facing the ground with our bellies and our face in quadruped, and think about pressing the back of the pelvis into the earth. Now this does not come from a scrunching of the low back. This comes from thinking about this space right underneath the glute, as if you could elongate the hamstring, the back of the thigh, into the ground. So think about a long back of the thigh, not a short back of the low waist. All right, and hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2. On 1, relax the hips and the shoulders. And now just simply walk the feet into alignment with the hips and the knees so they're not out and the knees are not dropped in any further. And we're doing the same thing. So press the shoulders back, scrunch the block with the outer edges of the shoulder blades, the inner edges of the shoulder heads. And then again, make space, lengthen the underbutt and the hamstrings into the mat. And you might even feel the hamstrings try to fire up as you push down with the 4 corners of your feet. And maybe even feel a little rise here in the mid to low back. Breathe in. Exhale, relax it all. So we're going to borrow a little bit from Pilates to do something called clockwork while we're here. And that just simply means tilting the tailbone towards the back of the knees, bringing the pubic bone towards the navel. And then as you breathe in again, move in the opposite direction. So pressing the pelvis into the ground, stretching the front of the abdomen, creating more of an arc in the low back. Breathe in. Exhale, move in the opposite direction. So curl, tuck, engage. Magnetize the pubic bone to the navel. And then inhale, lengthen. Exhale, deepen. Let's do one more. Breathe in, stretch the front of the body. Exhale, and all right. Now, relax everything. Press into the forearms as you curl your chin into your chest and come up. Now you have the option of just staying on this low block, and if you are working with books, that may be the option that you have to stay with, because the rest of us with blocks are going to come a little bit higher. Second setting. And then again, find the shoulder blades resting on that block, the head back. Try not to have to lift this back block unless you know that you have some issues in your neck, your cervical spine that you need to attend to. Otherwise, we are looking now at reaching the chin away, not getting stuck in a crunch in the back of the neck, but elongating the throat. So the feet are coming back under the knees, and it's the same action, palms open. Squeeze the block with the shoulder blades, and then press the pelvis down. Breathe in. Now hold this shape as you just squeeze the right glute and lift it maybe a smidge off the mat. And then push back down, inhale even, keep squeezing with the shoulder blades. Exhale and squeeze the left butt cheek, lift that side of the hip off the mat and put it right back down. Again, inhale, stretch the back of the thighs, press the pelvis into the mat, squeeze the block. Exhale, press into the right foot, squeeze with the right glute, a little lift, and again, inhale, stretch. Exhale, left hip rises. One more time each side. Keep the throat opening. Don't get stuck in the back of the neck. So many components go into making ease happen in the body in these postures. So long throat, shoulders squeezing, and squeeze the right glute up. Breathe in. Exhale, put the hip down, and then breathe in again. Open the back of the hips. Exhale, squeeze with the left glute. Place the left hip down, inhale and arc. And now as you lift the right hip again, try and reach the right hip towards the right heel. Keep squeezing with the shoulder blades and then put that hip down. Re-stretch the hips. Lift the left glute and reach the left hip towards the left heel. Notice that I'm focusing on reaching and not the other side getting shorter. So reestablish long throat, shoulders hugging back, reach the right glute up and then towards the right heel. As it comes down, the left glute comes up and stretches the left side of the waist as it reaches the hip towards the left heel. Let's do 3 more. Right hip up and reach. Keep squeezing with the shoulders, stretching the neck, left hip up and reach. Breathe, make space. And 2, right lift and lengthen. Left lift and lengthen. One more time each side, bicycling the pelvis. And feel the back of the thighs. Try to ignite a little bit. And as you put that left hip down the last time, again, press the pelvis into the mat. Lengthen the hamstrings. Stretch from pubic bone all the way to sternum. Breathe in. Shrug the shoulders on the block. Lengthen the throat open. And then relax. Everything. So good. Okay. So now you're either going to stay in this shape, or you might consider taking the block away from behind the head. And that means fingertips come to the back of the head, and we're going to stretch the head away from the neck. So not just dumping into the back of the neck, but really pulling the head up and out. And that may mean you have to kind of wiggle the pelvis or slide it up just a little bit. And this is a big heart opener. You're going to feel this block move into the back of the chest. Press the elbows, the backs of the forearms, hands and fingers down. And now from here, we're going to curl the tailbone up, 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 lift it about an inch off the mat, and then release the pelvis. Let's do 5 more. Keep squeezing the block, reinstitute the upper back hug, and lift and tap the pelvis, release. Again, 3, and tap, 2, tuck, tuck, and tap the back of the hips. 1 more time. Now we really are, watch me here, tapping, letting go completely. It's not a gentle put down of the pelvis. It's letting it tap and everything kind of shake out. Press the hips into the mat again. Squeeze nice and hard. Breathe into the heart. And then exhale as you bring your hands to the back of the head. Curl the chin to the chest. And now pause. So the work here is to press with the fingers, right? We have very strong hands. We use them for everything all day long. So do not think that you have to push your head into your hands to find release in the neck. Rather, turn that whole system off and press firm with the fingertips as if you've got a little lemon or something in your palm. Push the fingertips into the back of the head. Keep the elbows wide. Take an inhale here. And when you exhale, contract right in the solar plexus, not by pulling on the head, and feel that massage. Ooh, as the books or the block move into the back of the upper body. And then lengthen back out. Stretch the head away from the neck. So really tugging on the base of the head. As you lengthen out, release the arms, and we've got another set. Breathe in, stretch the pelvis, hug the block. Exhale. Tilt the pubic bone to the navel, and then let go. Again, breathe in. Exhale, release. For 4. And 3. Keep squeezing with those shoulders. 2. Release. 1 more. And let it go. Now this time, press the pelvis into the mat. Find a bigger arc from low spine to heart. Fingertips to the back of the head. Curl the head up with the strength of the hands. Keep holding that arc, maybe even get a little more. Feel like you're melting your bum into the mat. And that should create a lot of stretch in the front of the pelvis. It might feel, now it's gonna feel crunchy in the low back if you're thinking about kind of twerking, like kind of shrinking the low back. So don't think that way. Just like lengthening the chin away from the heart is different from dropping the head back and crunching at the base of the neck, right? Lengthening the back of the thighs into the ground is much different than trying to force the bum closer to the low back. Press firm with the hands, lengthen the elbows wide. As you exhale, contract right in the top of the ribs, curl up, get that massage. And then let's reach the legs forward, come up. All right, so we're moving this up the back, and that may be where you stop today, but I've got one more option for you. And this is quite a massage in the paraspinals and a big heart opener. So we're turning the direction of the block. It's on its medium height. Now it's going the same direction as the mat. And we're going to place that right below the heart, the bottom edge of this below the heart, so that it runs up between the shoulder blades but not onto the neck. All right, this one's even bigger. So if you're not ready for it, back off and go to the previous setting. And then again, we're pulling with the thumbs on the occiput, that bottom shelf of the head, stretching it back, maybe bringing it to the ground, and then arms open. One more time, we squeeze this block with our shoulder blades. We press into the 4 corners of our feet. This moves this massage a little further down the back. Press the pelvis into the ground, breathe in, and exhale, tilt the pubic bone towards the navel, get that little bit of activation in the lower pelvis, and then drop. And again, curl, release. Let's do 4 more. So stretch the toes, even in the feet, curl, and tap the back of the pelvis for 3, and release. 2. That's right, everybody. Everything kind of has to jiggle out. One more time. So we're tapping the terminal of the spinal cord, which is right there at the edge of the sacrum, and we're sending a signal to the nervous system that it's okay to relax in a posture that otherwise might, on the idea of it, make us stress and sort of tighten and tense up. We're trying to send a signal to the body that this is a safe space by releasing the nervous system in a position that otherwise might make us think from previous ways of practicing it improperly that it might be painful. Now hug the shoulder blades one more time, reach the back of the knees through the back of the pelvis into the mat. See how that actually really moves the mid-back away from that bottom edge of the block. Breathe in. And then one more time, fingertips to the back of the head. Draw the chin in alignment with the heart. Elbows stay wide. You know what to do. It's a firm press with the fingertips. Now keep this action right here. It's an exhale that squeezes these two sides of the ribs where they separate back together. And get that curl and that massage and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, on 1, walk the feet forward, come up, sit nice and tall, and just feel all the freedom of having moved your spine into extension, a nice long stretch in the low back that actually pulled the spine in 2 directions rather than forcing it into a fold, right? So we're making space for the discs to exist, maybe return to an even balance between each vertebral body, and then also getting a massage and moving the heart opener where it belongs, into the back of the heart. So one thing that I'll touch on before we close today's practice is that if you understand the shape of the spine, right, the sacral region sort of curls under. Above that, the lumbar region curls sort of in. Above that, the thoracic region curls out, and there are names for these curves, but we'll get there. And then in the cervical region, it curves back in. So we don't want to actually force this region that is in a lordotic curve, an inward curve, to be forced further into that shape. If anything, we have a lot of movement, most of us, right here at the sacrum and right here at the thoracolumbar inner junction. And so we want to take that right here, like we did with the massage of the block, and move the heart and the thoracic region into a match to the curve that's already happening in the low back. And then by reaching the back of the legs and the underbutt behind us, right, rather than scrunching right here, we open that connection of the lumbar and sacral spine into a stretched arc, these 2 spaces that are meant to be a little more mobile, so that we have a nice extension of the lumbar spine and its shape above and below. And that's what we're aiming at experiencing today. So if you struggled with this a little bit, maybe go back and watch and really listen to the cues before you practice again, and then head to either the warm-up or day 1 and day 2 of the back bends to see if you're paying attention to sequential movement in your body before you enter into day 3 of back bending here again, and really give it time, because finding peace and ease in your body in these shapes is about being intentional and not rushing in. And that's for all of us, whether we've struggled with back pain in the past, currently, or not. All right? So I hope you're enjoying these practices. Let me know how it goes in the comments, and I'll see you tomorrow. Have a beautiful day.